now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. We begin with politics here at home, as President Bola Tinubu has called on state governors from his ruling All Progressives Congress to wet the grass. This is a metaphor urging them to do more in addressing complaints from ordinary Nigerians at the grassroots. He made the call during the party's 14th National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja, where Professor Nentawe Yilwatda was elected as the new national chairman of the APC. Let's take a look at what happened.
The 14th National Executive Committee meeting of Nigeria's governing All Progressives Congress began with a minute of silence in memory of the late President Muhammadu Buhari, one of the party's most prominent figures. But it was also a moment of urgent party business. The emergency session was called following the resignation of the national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje. Governor Hope Uzodinma, chair of the Progressive Governors Forum, moved the zoning of the party's top leadership to Nigeria's North Central region. He also proposed that the office of the National Legal Advisor be moved from the North Central to the Northwest. Professor Nentawe Yilwatda was then nominated and elected as national chairman. Professor Karim Kana, the current National Legal Advisor, was also, on his part, nominated and elected to become the Deputy National Secretary, while Murtala Kagia from Katsina State, Northwest, was nominated and elected as the new National Legal Advisor.
I want to humbly move the motion that the National Executive Committee approve the office of the National Chairman of APC to be zoned back from the Northwest, where it is now, to North Central geopolitical zone. That Professor Nentawe Yilwatda from Plateau State, North Central geopolitical zone, be nominated and be elected as the National Chairman of All Progressive Congress.
I, Abbas Tajuddin, member of the All Progressive Congress from Kwarbai B Ward of Zaria Local Government of Kaduna State, hereby second the motions.
Professor Yilwatda, an engineer, former resident electoral commissioner, and current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, then accepts the position with his full heart.
I do not take this mandate for granted. I want to accept it with gratitude and with my full heart and full mind to work together with you to build the party, knowing that all of us here are the mechanics of the party, and the party is our vehicle, and we'll fix it and move it to our destination of choice. I pledge, without hesitation, that I will work with everybody in the party, I'll unite the party, I'll build the party, I'll expand the party with you as a focus and the building block and the support that I will require to drive the party as needed by all of us so that we can fulfill the dream of Nigerians who have reposed their hope in the Renew Hope agenda.
President Bola Tinubu used the opportunity to rally his party and its governors. He insists that while the economy is stabilizing, the expectations of ordinary Nigerians must not be ignored at the grassroots level.
Thank you very much for the acceptance speech and the commitment to the progressive ideology of this great party. Nigerians are still complaining at grassroots. To you, the governors, you have to wet the grass more and lead the way in delivering progressive change to Nigerians.
The party proposed that the tenure of ward and local government party executives be extended to 31st December 2025, citing compressed political activities within the party. Tinubu also said it will allow for more defectors to join its fold.
That is making room for those who are still coming. And it's not a bad idea to abandon the sinking ship and be absent from a coalition of confusions.
NEC is the second most powerful organ of the party after the National Convention.
Now, still in politics, the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed, has said only a transparent national convention of the party would be the game changer for the turnaround of the party. Now, this came as the acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Damagum, claimed that some members of the party who initially joined the African Democratic Congress, ADC, have started coming back to the party. Also, a former president of the Senate, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, has said the outcome of yesterday's NEC meeting was an indication that the Reconciliation and Strategy Committee that he headed was delivering on its assignment. The 101st NEC meeting was observed by 5 officials from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and according to Mohammed, only a transparent and a successful national convention will help heal this self-inflicted wound. And I quote, "We would be taken serious as a party when we conduct a transparent and successful national convention, and this would be a game changer for us." Right, now on to security issues, as the Department of State Services and the Nigeria Police have paraded 8 suspects arrested in connection with the abduction of the High Court Judge Justice Ebierin Umokoro in Bayelsa State. The suspects included 6 men and 2 women. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Francis Alonyenu, said the entire rescue operation was supervised by the Inspector General of Police and Director General of the Department of State Services. He disclosed that Governor Doye Diri provided the logistical support that ensured the success of this operation. Alonyenu said operations are still ongoing to apprehend the 9th suspect and mastermind who has fled the country.
The result you have seen today emanated from His Excellency's insistence that we all work together to ensure that Bayelsa is free from acts of criminality. The judge is out. Our cameras actually work. If you come to Bayelsa and commit crime, you will pay. Parading these suspects here who have confessed the crime and admitted to their roles goes to show that the government of the state is accountable to their citizens.
We were doing bunkering business at River State. So when the Tantita security agents spoiled our camps, things were very hard. So I told him that if in terms there is any work issue, he called me. So he called me on the 28th of June that I should come to Yanawa. So I came, and he called John Ozi, the person that is beside me here.
All right, well, positive developments, but of course, we want to see the process, the full process, reach its final conclusion, prosecution, conviction, if that is the case as well.
And that's what we want to see. So, but kudos to the police for this, because we all remember that story, and we all remember how the story scared the living daylight out of all of us. You know, how will a judge just be picked up on the street like that? So we are happy. And we all remember what transpired about even when 2 families had to go head-to-head against each other during that situation out there in Bayelsa. But we're happy that they've been apprehended. And one step further will be the full weight of the law. So they need to have their time in court. They are still suspects. Yes, they've they've confessed to the crime, but they're still suspect, and they have to go through a legal process. As regards the APC, kudos to President Tinubu this morning. Master stroke for making Professor Nentawe the head of the APC, the chairman of the party, because Professor Nentawe is sort of like a balancing act. Apart from the fact that he comes from the North Central, he comes from the Plateau, I should say, and also the fact that he's somebody that is very forthright with his decision-making process, and that's indicative in the last role he had with the humanitarian ministry and some of the things he was able to do, which he did give account of while he was there. In fact, the humanitarian ministry will miss him so dearly, and we hope President Tinubu will get another person in the stature of President Nentawe to replace him in that humanitarian ministry and the work he'll do there. And also with his grassroots work in Jos, you know, he vowed for our governorship under the ticket of the APC in the last election. He lost to Mufwang, but it does not relegate the fact that he does a lot as regards grassroots development out there in Jos. And it's going to be a balancing factor in the political party. And he has something some sort of like a righteous stubbornness, if I can use that word, at which he'll be able to pull in errant parts of the political party. We feel very good because we're the last to interview him. And after the interview, then he's now the chairman of the APC. So this is a good selection, by President Tinubu. It just shows that the APC is trying to bring things in as much as possible. Also, the PDP has shown some glimmer. We have constantly said here that the PDP is in comatose and the likes. Yes, but in these past few days, they've been able to show some glimmer of hope, to be able to coalesce and bring forces together. Namagung recognizing that, we might have done wrong in the past. They called for a parley of founding leaders the other day, and they said, okay, the way forward, we'll be looking at the future. The convention is coming up soon, and they are able to do kumbaya. But with the way the PDP has been destroyed, and largely still in coma because the PDP is still hemorrhaging, because with all of this, it has not stopped the fact that people are still leaving. Some senators left the other day. Will they be able to summon it up? Only time will tell. So let's see how their convention will go. But it looks as though steadily the coma is starting to wear off from the PDP. And, pretty much across the two political parties, there's some very cheering news this morning by my read, So today is not my sledgehammer. Today is my chummy bubblegum for the two political parties.
Okay, on this platform, previously, we deplored the abduction of Justice Umukoro of the Bayelsa State of the Bayelsa State High Court. He escaped. At the end of the day, he was released. The family said they spoke to family, and then he was released. However, nobody, as we pointed out, should be abducted in Nigeria. Every citizen has the right to life. Every citizen has the right to the dignity of life. If a Judas is abducted, it raises questions about how safe the rest of us, ordinary citizens, we are. That's number one. Number two, now the issue now is that, okay, after all that drama, the suspects are being paraded. No. There are precedents in terms of decisions of the court, the ECOWAS court, and the Federal High Court, about 5 of them, saying that you do not display suspects within the Nigerian jurisdiction. Because, as I always argue, our system is prosecutorial. It's not accusatorial. A man is deemed innocent until proven guilty. Now, when you display them, as Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation, also intervened, as he did, in March 2025, you already have judged them guilty. Whoever the culprits are, you don't display culprits, alleged offenders, persons who have been accused before the determination of the suit itself. And I think that that's something that, the judicial system needs to work on, to make sure that you don't convict people before their guilt is properly established. This is the problem we have in this particular story about persons who may have abducted Justice Umukoro being paraded. The parading of suspected persons is wrong, it's unconstitutional, it's unlawful. And I stand by that argument. Whoever disagrees can come to television and argue that matter. Now, the other issue you raised is about Yilwatda, who was here recently on this program, now the APC chairman. All of us will recall that when the APC chairman before him, namely the former governor of Kano State, was removed. That's Governor Ganduje. There were concerns. Why was Ganduje removed? What is going to happen? And all of that. Ganduje has been made the chairman of the, I think, the Airports Authority Fund, right? Federal Airports Aviation Authority. And I had predicted in a piece that I wrote that, President Tinubu can find something else for him. Now, Yilwatda, who was on this program just this week, has now emerged as the chairman of the party. He's from the North Central. Now, his emergence has now necessitated, a rearrangement of positions within the party to ensure inclusion, to ensure a sense of belonging, as we have been told. Now, he's from North Central, chairman of the party. Now, within the rearrangements, the deputy national secretary is also from the North Central, but the secretary is now from where now? He's from the Northwest. So there have been rearrangements within the party to ensure inclusion. Now, the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Opus Odima of Imo State, spoke. And he said, look, we are rearranging the party and all of that. He was the one that pointed all of that out. And he asked Tajuddin Abbas, the deputy, the Speaker of the House of Reps, to second the motion. And he did accordingly. But it's interesting what Tajuddin Abbas said. Dr. Abbas now went after the ADC. He said the ADC, is being mischievous. The ADC does not pose any serious threat. Okay, that's what we expect him to say in this circumstance, now that there is very serious opposition. However, I take special notice of the statement made by the new chairman of the APC. He says he's happy, he's privileged to have been appointed as the chairman of the APC. When he appeared on this program this week, he came here as Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Now he's going into key party politics. He comes across as a very sober, gentle, reasonable person. We hope that he will continue along that trajectory of his persona as a sober, reasonable, disciplined person. Because the APC is in a mood now where the party behaves like they are on rampage, fighting everybody that challenges them. This is a democracy. We hope that Professor Yilwatda will act as an educated man, as an enlightened man, and he will not, project in the territory of the kind of intolerance that we have seen the APC, exhibiting. I do not want to comment any further on the behavior of his predecessor, who has been settled with an appointment, as I predicted. And I hope he makes the best use of that particular position. I'm talking about former Governor Ganduje, but I don't want to comment further, because what I will say will just be like breaking the table.
Please don't break the table this morning, Dr. Abati. Look, I'll begin in Bayelsa, since we have time constraints. Bayelsa, of course, we saw the kidnapping, the abduction of Justice Umokoro, who was held captive for 12 days and was freed recently. And we're glad to see that some suspects have been apprehended, although the mastermind is still at large. However, I want to take this opportunity to begin by commending the Superintendent of Police, Nentawe Obi, who was offered a bribe of $17,000 US by one of the suspects who is involved in organ harvesting, and he declined to accept that bribe. So just want to commend him, because we often highlight the negative aspects of policing, but when you do find somebody who is upright and who does their job with all commitment, I think it's important to highlight them, and I believe the state has also rewarded him with a 3-bedroom apartment and a car. So truly, there is still reward for integrity. Though it may be there in heaven, here on earth, it's important to see that truly people still get rewarded for maintaining their integrity. Now, very quickly, we'll go to the APC. A very warm congratulations to Professor Nentawe on his ascension as the new chairman of the APC. Quite a balancing act indeed, as my colleagues have already highlighted. What are some of the major factors? Some of the major factors are that with the rearrangements that have now been done, the Northeast has been left vacant, and some might argue that it has reassured Vice President Kashim Shettima that his position is not under any threat whatsoever, and has also cooled the nerves of those in the Northeast that we saw crying foul just a few weeks ago when there was a report of omission. There were so many stories around what happened when the Vice President's name was not mentioned, following which President Tinubu himself had said that he will not name who his running mate is until he's given the ticket officially and so forth. But with this new arrangement, it looks like the Northeast can rest easy because the Vice Presidency belongs to them. There are some reports that say there might be competition. There might be other people from that state who might want to challenge the sitting Vice President, but we'll continue to watch that as the story unfolds. Now, another major issue was the anger that had come out from the last election pertaining to issues around religion. The Muslim ticket that many Christians had felt had left them marginalized and had left them out of the presidency. Now you have a Christian North Central Middle Belt chairman. Will this be enough to make Christians and Christian voters feel that the APC has them in mind, that the APC is not moving towards any conspiracy of Islamizing the nation, but that it truly is an inclusive party that reflects all? Well, we'll still wait to see how people will respond, because there was a lot of heat, tension, a lot of backlash over that Muslim ticket. All in all, as already has been expressed, Professor Nentawe is a gentleman. He's cool, he's calm, he's soft-spoken. And where we look at that as a positive attribute, some might look at the nature of Nigerian politics and feel that, well, is he going to be able to redefine the narrative that somebody has to be a little bit aggressive and Machiavellian to be able to survive in Nigerian politics? Or is he going to be swallowed by the beast that is Machiavellian politics? We'll continue to wait and see. And as I round up on the president's statements urging the governors to wet the grass, if I may quote him directly. Well, when we speak of the grassroots, I think what comes to mind really are the local governments. The LGA autonomy ruling has still not been implemented, and that is sitting on the table of the federal. So whereas it's important for us to continue to redirect our attention to the subnationals and hold our governors accountable, it doesn't mean that we're turning away from the federal and not holding them accountable for where they need to play their part. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Adun, said that there are still some bottlenecks around getting the local governments, the financial architecture corrected. However, 1 year later, I'm not sure we can take that as an excuse, because that will truly be the tool that can wet the grass, if I may quote the president directly.